Consultants for KET, and we are thankful to be joining you today to give you a little insight about some of the resources and some of the other things that you can find both with us at KET or in PBS LearningMedia. And then we offer one of the things which again, we'll mention at the end as well, but is that we just want you to know that the education consultants, both the early childhood and the K-12 consultants, are here to help you all in any way that we possibly can. So if you're looking for a particular resource or looking for an activity or something like that, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. So we're just going to, I'm going to get started, and then I'll let Brian introduce himself when we switch over. All right, so I'm going to start off talking about a little bit of the early childhood resources that you can find. Now, a big part of what I'm going to be talking about, we have had several libraries that have been very interested in these resources and several that have utilized them. So if this is something that you are interested in, we can, like I said, we can help you with, or we can even put you in contact with others that have used these resources. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what PBS Kids, this was part of the last round of the Ready to Learn grant. They developed several of these. So I'm going to kind of give you a really high level overview of each one of them. But most of these are family and community learning workshops. They are intended to be a series of 4 workshops kind of geared towards the target audience is for children 3 to 8. Now it really depends on which one, and I'll kind of mention that as I go along. However, now the thing about these family and community learning workshops is that they're not just intended for children that age. These are intended for the entire family. So they bring the entire family together. And that means the older and younger siblings. And we've had lots of great feedback in when we were piloting these and others that have utilized these. So it's kind of really intended to be that intergenerational learning and helps the adults in the child's life kind of really help support their development. So each one of these workshop series has kind of 4 parts. They are intended, typically the way they were written is that you would do them once a week for 2 hours. However, the one thing that I really, really want to iterate is the fact that you can take these resources and tweak them to meet your needs. There are lots of great stuff that's going to be here that you can kind of take apart or use parts of and not other parts of. So again, it's however is going to best fit your needs. Each workshop typically starts out with an eat. So we usually do a meal at this. This is an intended to be a part of connecting families together. Now, typically that is something that I know that's not done in kind of a setting like yours. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a part of that. That's just how that they were built to begin with. The explore section, typically at that point, we separate the adults and the children at that point. And the reason is because there are facilitators with the children, so they're kind of talking to them about what's going to be going on at that night or what the topic for the night is. And then at the adults, when we have a facilitator with the adults, what they're doing then is they are really kind of helping and supporting them in serving in that role of being their child's first teacher. So we empower them because it's not about what I know or me teaching their children. It's about, again, helping that intergenerational learning. Then we bring them back together for a make part. And so this is kind of where we're working on whatever topic, again, that it happens to be for the night. And then the night closes out, or the session closes out with a share. And this is not mandatory. This is just intended to be a way that people can share about what they've learned or something that maybe they had a challenge with, or that they can show off what they were working on for that particular session. So I'm going to show you, there is a quick video. I'm not sure. Those are, I had sent it, but we can skip it. All right, so the one thing that I just really wanted to highlight with this is that these are some of the resources, or these are kind of the overarching topics that each one of these are covering. So these are just some graphics that were developed, again, as part of the Ready to Learn grant. So a lot of these focus on STEM concepts. So you are this is the engineering design process, this is the science inquiry process. Then we have another one. This is surrounding a brand new character from, well, she's not new, I guess now. She's been around about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, that PBS Kids has come out with. This is Molly of Denali. So Molly of Denali is set in Denali, Alaska. It is the very first cartoon that is inspired by or illustrates and highlights indigenous characters. So Molly is she is part of the, I think it's a Baskin tribe. I always forget how to say it correctly. But she is a part of a tribe in Alaska. Her family, her parents own a trading post. Now, the kind of overarching highlight of, or overarching educational concept for her particular show is the informational text. And so I'm sorry, my brain, I need to, but informational text. So this is just a graphic. Again, it's not intended to be memorized. This is just something that way you know exactly kind of what's overarching about it. All right, so here are the characters that, or here are the ones that we have. So we're going to talk about each one of them just very, very briefly. All right, so here is the video. I don't know.
Holly, this is Hillary. I'm gonna, if it's all right, I'll let you stop sharing this and we can share the video.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on just a second.
These are the PBS Kids Family and Community Learning Workshops. These provide families the opportunity to explore STEM concepts in a whimsical, very fun way.
It's a series of 4 workshops where we get parents and kids together to engage in science inquiry and engineering design.
At every workshop, we follow the same format. We eat, we explore, we play, and we share out.
We are focusing on both the caregivers and the children because we want them to learn in partnership.
When families are invested in children's learning, research tells us that they are better off academically, they're better off socially and emotionally, and also they graduate high school at a higher rate.
Hi, Love! We're here to help. What do you want us to do?
I need to make a rhino-sized raincoat out of some kind of material I can find in this house.
PBS Kids Media is the base of everything that we do. It's a perfect kicking off point.
PBS Kids characters are very good models for the science inquiry and engineering design process.
They're always making observations, asking questions, and they talk you through that process.
The higher sounding gong is smaller.
That's about the size of it.
The multi-generational idea is to bring the whole family unit into a session.
It can be any family member. It can be grandparents, aunts and uncles, even older brothers and sisters.
These workshops make the parents see a different light or a different side of learning. The light bulb goes off to say, oh, I can do this at home.
He asked me the other day, he's like, Mom, I want to do an experiment.
Now he's like obsessed with it. So it's awesome.
These workshops really do give families the confidence that they can learn together. And it's not just something that takes place at school. It's something that can happen in their homes.
Thanks, Hillary.
You're welcome.
So as you can see, these are intended to be very light and fun sessions that are intended for the entire family. So I am going to give you just really, like I said, a brief overview. You will have access to these slides. All of these slides then are hyperlinked to the resources. So in these resources, you're going to be able to find a facilitator's guide, any media that's needed, as far as video clips or anything like that that's needed to go along with it. You'll be able to also find any other printouts or other resources that you need. And then as always, you're welcome, like I mentioned to you earlier, you're welcome to reach out to us at KET to be able to help you in any possible way that we can. So I'm going to talk about, like I said, just give you a real brief overview of each one of the ones that are available. All of the resources, like I said, are free to use. They're in PBS Learning Media. You do not need an account in PBS Learning Media to access them. However, if you do create an account, which it's free to do so, then you can favorite them. You can do all sorts of there's other kind of advantages to creating an account, but again, it's free to do so. So the first one is the PBS Kids Scratch Junior. This is intended for kind of that target audience of children 5 to 8. It does utilize the PBS Kids Scratch Junior app, so it is a pre-coding app. This is one of my favorites. I think they're all my favorite in some aspect or way, but this one I really, really like this one. Coding skills, of course, as you know, also interact or intertwine with literacy skills. So we're talking about there's lots of things that families get to love and do about this particular one. There's other resources also in PBS Learning Media that are available around Scratch Junior lesson plans and that type of thing as well. So the next one is the Rough Ruffman Show. This one is, again, designed kind of targeting audiences or children with families that have children 5 to 8. Again, older and younger siblings, like I said, are welcome in these family and community learning workshops. This particular one really focuses a lot on the engineering design process and science inquiry. So we talk about material science. We talk about ramps and roll. We talk about there is an engineering where they design a playground structure for Rough Ruffman. So there's lots of resources or lots of STEM concepts that go along with this particular one. This one is targeted for the younger audience. So we're looking at children 3 to 5. This one does kind of revolve around or includes concepts that are included in the PBS Kids Play and Learn Science app. That is a app designed, again, for children 3 to 5 that talk a lot about different science and engineering practices. So this one, we talk a little bit about water. We talk a little bit about weather. There's other concepts that are covered for each one of those nights as well. Then we also have, for that 3 to 5 audience, we have Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that. So in this one, it does again utilize STEM and engineering. So but this one, we're talking about bridges, we're talking about music and listening to that, trying to create. There are other, again, there's other concepts that are covered with that one that you can take a look at. So this one right here is the Ready, Jet, Go FCL. This one is one of the newer ones that has just been released on PBS Learning Media probably about 6 months ago. This one is, again, targeting children 5 to 8. We do look a lot with science in this one and engineering. So we talk about what a rover is. We talk about a little bit of environmental science, talking about erosion. So there's lots of science that is built into this one as well. Then last but not least is Molly of Denali. So Molly of Denali, I mentioned to you earlier that she is really looking at informational text. So we look a lot at maps. We look a lot at when we talk about when you go to the intent is to build your own kind of virtual museum. You can do it virtual or you can do it in person, but to build a museum. So each one of these nights, you create something that, again, is looking at informational text. However, it's doing it in such a fun way that they don't even realize what they're really doing. So the next one, really quick, that I want to talk about, you'll notice there's a lot of similarities with some of these. So we do also have out-of-school resources, or they were built to be camps. They can be used after school in after-school programs. They could be used as an after-school activity. So these, again, are intended for children. It depends on the age, but here are the 3 that are available. And so I'm going to talk just really quickly about them. So Odd Squad Be the Agent Camp. This particular camp was developed as part of the not the last round, but the round before of the Ready to Learn grant. It does target children 5 to 8. If you don't know anything about Odd Squad is kind of a little bit more math focused, but in this particular iteration of the camp, there is also some engineering and science inquiry practices that are involved in it. So there are 10 cases that children can solve in this particular camp. Again, it's like I mentioned to you earlier, you don't have to do all 10 of them. You could take a look through it, and if there is a particular one that you would like to do as a one-off event, you can do that as well. But there are lots of, there's lots to choose from when it comes to these. The one thing I really like about the facilitator's guide for all of these is that it gives you lots of information. So it gives you even a script. If that is something that you're not comfortable with, you don't know exactly what to say, it does give you a script. However, if you read over it, you know exactly what you're doing, as long it's still keeping along with it. So the next one is the Rough Men Sensational Science Camp. Now it has lots of the same activities that you will notice that were in the FCL. So there's a lot of similarities with that one. And the same goes for the Ready, Jet, Go Space Exploration Camp. So a lot of the same activities, but they've taken some little tweaks and twists. And so those are then available to be able to utilize in kind of a camp format. There are 10 of those as well, so that you can mix and match, do however that best suits your needs. One thing I did want to mention is the PBS Kids Learning Goal Sheet. So this is something that if you are not very familiar with PBS Kids properties and you don't quite know what kind of the overarching educational content of each one of those is, this is a great worksheet or a great sheet for you. And the reason for that is because it gives you will notice that it gives the name of the show, whatever that happens to be, and then you will notice in the middle it kind of gives a target grade range. Now that's not set in stone, it's just kind of a target. And then the last but not least, the last column there, it's going to tell you kind of targeted down. So you notice on here, like we've got STEM, but if I was looking for something maybe math focused, I could look on this sheet and see that Peg Plus Cat would be a great resource or a great property that would possibly have some math resources that I'm looking for. Of course, there's lots of PBS Kids apps. I'm not going to go over them, but that I just wanted to always make sure to mention. And I've noticed that there's been lots of links put into the chat box, so hopefully you'll take advantage of those. This next one is the free app card that we have available. If you are interested in this to send out or to have available for families that come to your particular library, just let us know. We can send you out as many as you would like, and they would be available. This is not an exhaustive list of all free apps that PBS Kids has to offer. However, it is several of them. So feel free. We'll make sure that you get our contact information. You just let us know, and we will send you out whatever you would like. And now I'm going to pass it off to Brian and let Brian introduce himself.
Well, thank you, Holly. My name is Brian Spellman. I work with our K-12 schools mainly. We work alongside Holly and the rest of the early childhood team. And as she mentioned, we just build upon collaborate really well with all of these resources and all the family learning nights and so forth that Holly has just shared with you guys. So if you go to the next slide, we just sort of put together a lot of resources that you all have available to you guys for you all to use that are all within PBS LearningMedia. And there are a lot of different things that we've created over the years or things that we are currently really highlighting and doing some really interesting things for. And as you see on the field there on the screen, we have all kinds of stuff that are local and then national as well. The social emotional learning collection, this is tied through the arts and how we can use the arts to help our students who are so right now dealing with so much, just like the rest of us, our educators and our teachers, but our students and our kids that may be coming to you all after school, and a lot of great resources and different activities and concepts there. I really recommend everybody check out. We have a brand new, it's been out less than a year, Kentucky State Capitol field trip, where you get to go in and see the Capitol building and see the art within the building and learn what happens in the building. It is an awesome little video collection within PBS Learning Media, and as the link has been shared as well. Just a couple other things on the screen here. The Muhammad Ali collection. This goes along with, if anybody has watched any of the 4 parts, I believe it is, Ken Burns documentary that's been airing this week. Started on the 14th there, or this weekend, that has been airing. These are educational resources that go along with the Ken Burns documentary. It also has a link where you can go out and learn more about Muhammad Ali, who, such a pivotal figure for Kentucky. Absolutely. So with all these, I'll go ahead and answer that question as it popped up. All of these resources are within PBS Learning Media. So within Learning Media, everything inside of it can be linked out since it is an open resource. So there are social media links. There is integrations within different learning management systems such as Google Classroom, Clever, Schoology, and some others as well, where you can have all that at your resources, but you can also share them out because they are free and really awesome resources there. A couple of the others that are on the screen here, we have a youth mental health collection. Again, goes along with the social emotional. It's such an important topic to us. I really think that's some great resources to share out with the public and really do some great stuff there. And then this, again, is just the tip of the iceberg of the resources that we have available to our kids, to our parents, that can be used in all settings, in all classrooms, or beyond the classroom, just at home, just for fun. It's really, really great stuff. And it's not just videos, it's printouts, it's activities, it's interactives where they can play games and do all kinds of things, such as the PBS Kids apps and so forth. And then the last slide of K-12 resources there's some of the services that we offer within KET. Now, this is not everything that we do, but this is just some of the ones that we wanted to highlight. We do a Young Writers Contest every year that is a K through 12 audience, where our younger students, our little bitties, our younger students can do illustrated stories, they can do short stories, they can do poetry from the intermediate grades up to high school, and they can submit that stuff to us. We judge and score. We have professional writers judge and score some of the poetry contests and so forth as well. But then we turn them all into digital books, PDFs, ebooks, audiobooks, where they can go back and they can see all the great student stories that have been created over the years, all the way back to 2010, I believe. We have those on our website. And thank you, the website there. Just awesome resources. Really recommend you check that out. It's awesome stuff. We have PBS Ed Camps that we'll be doing that in the fall, which is a really unique thing for a lot of great learning. Thank you. I'm going to go back to this one real quick and then go back to that one. We have a virtual learning series where we've 2 times a month, actually another one tonight, where we're doing online PD on various topics. This month we're concentrating on the social emotional. Next month is we'll have some social studies content, social studies resources, and some other things throughout the fall. But then we also just have other things that we do. We have a summer PD days that we do. We have Holly and her team, my team as well, where we come to places and do trainings like not just the family, but how do we use learning media? How do we create green screen video? How do we use GarageBand? So we have educator trainings and student trainings that we can do that kind of stuff with you guys. But then we also have adult ed content, which is the workplace essential skills and fast forward. These are for our parents, our adults, but also our older students that may need additional help or just some various guidance on essential skills for getting the job and in the workplace, or fast forward is our high school equivalency study program, which is really unique and available to anyone and everyone. And then with the Ed Camp, these are normally in-person, really fun days. However, we've had to go virtual, and the next one is November 13th. And we really recommend, we'll have sign up for that coming up soon. Holly will share a little bit more about the actual timeline of the setup, but you can go ahead and register for that in the coming weeks, and then hopefully we see you there. And that's just some of the K-12 content that builds upon some of the family resource and the other things that our early childhood team has been doing and does do on a daily basis. And we're just here to continue to build upon that and to offer some additional resources and just some other great things, whatever we can do to help you guys out and help our schools, teachers, parents, students, just help our communities. And then, go ahead, Holly.
Well, I was going to either one. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware, like I mentioned to you earlier, that our consultants are available to help you in any way. And so this is a way that you can reach out to us and you can schedule a time. You can schedule 15 minutes. You can schedule 30 minutes. You're also welcome just to email us. If you're interested, as you can see, KET offers great resources from early childhood all the way up through adult ed. So reach out to us, and hopefully we can, if we don't know what, if you reach out to me and I don't know exactly, I'll reach out to one of my colleagues, and I'm sure that we can figure out exactly the best way to help you. So just wanted to make sure that you had that information. Are there any questions or anything? It looks like we've got about 3 minutes left is about all, but if there's any questions or anything like that, we are here to answer them as well.
Okay, well, we love uncomfortable silence, but I think at that point we'll if there's no other questions or anything, we'll share our email addresses. I can't thank Hillary, you, and Alicia so much for putting all the links in and allowing us to be part of this today.
Well, thank you all very much for being willing to present. We really, really appreciate it. Y'all taking time out of your day to talk to everybody. So thank you all again. Thank you all for attending. It is now lunch break time. I believe there's a session with Willie starting at 1 o'clock. And then for the rest of the rooms, the sessions will start back at 2. But if you want to go to that session with Willie, that's going to be in room 1 at 1 o'clock. So I want to say thank you all again. Enjoy your afternoon, and you all take care. Thank you all very much.